All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, it's James Lamar. I am here. I am back. It is almost what? It has been almost 4 years since I made my first video. Uh, Please excuse me if I say a lot. I'm doing my best to get out of that habit, but while I'm talking, thinking of the next thought or something, or doing my best to put things into words. I have a habit. Clearly, I just did it again of doing the thing. But yes, welcome back to my channel. It was previously known as Told by James, but now I have changed the name to the King James version. Uh, Basically, it's kind of the same thing because as Told by James, it was a derivative from the show As Told by Ginger. Like she writes in her journal, I believe, and stuff like that, tells her stories. And essentially that's the same thing. That's the same premise that I had. However, now that it's been years, I just feel, now it's the King James version. Now it's about stepping into the best version of yourself. And I feel like I feel like in the practices that I'm currently doing, I feel as though I'm continuing to, you know, make steps to become the best version of myself continuously every day, by, things that I have incorporated in my life and my daily routine and things of that nature. I'm making this video. I am nervous, so excuse the pauses and stuff like that. Not as nervous as before, not as nervous as the first time, but there is some nervousness there. Nonetheless, I do feel as though this is what God has called me to do. God has called me to be here. God has called me to get back on YouTube and tell my story. You know what I'm saying? Tell my story, share with others. I am a, I'm primarily a private person, like on social media and things like that. I share my thoughts and, based off of my experiences and stuff like that. Nonetheless, you don't get like names, you don't get, exact time frames and stuff like that, necessarily. Because again, I mean, that's not necessary for, in that regard, but specific names and titles and different things of that nature won't be necessary here per se, but I feel as though you guys are going to be able to learn more about me by way of this channel and by way of my personal experiences. Uh, what is it like the MTV had a show named Diary in the early 2000s. I really enjoyed that. It followed the celebrities as, a day in the life of a celebrity, kind of like following them along behind the scenes at photo shoots and album release parties and different things of that nature. And they'd be interviewed talking about some of those things that they were doing and things of that nature. And I believe that the slogan was, "You think you know, but you have no idea." And that's how I feel in regard to people who don't know me personally. You think you know, but you have no idea. This video is going to be candid. It's going to be raw. I'm not going to like do any edits or anything of that nature. It's my first rodeo. It feels like the first time. It honestly feels like the first time. Back in 2018, when I started the channel, it was going to be somewhat of a review channel, similar to like Funky Dineva. Funky Dineva was an inspiration at the time, how he'd make reviews for reality shows like Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, things of that nature. So I was going to do something like that similarly, but now like it definitely won't be catered to that type of thing. Although I still enjoy Real Housewives of Atlanta, um, it won't be, it won't be centered around that. It'll be centered around, you know, my life and things that I've gone through, self love, self advocacy, growth, becoming your best version, the King James version. My experiences, simply like my experiences, things that I've gone through, situations that I've been through where I feel as though I'll be able to possibly help someone else out. Someone may be going through the same thing or something similar and might not know what to do, might not know which way to turn, what step to take next. And I feel as though I will possibly be able to help an individual or two. I have really dived. Is it dived or dove? Dove? I've dove into deeper into my spiritual journey this year. I feel as though I started to experience a spiritual awakening, in the latter part of 2020. But through that time until now, I definitely had to go through more things, learn more lessons and things of that nature. So although I was growing on this journey, there were still some things that I had to learn and some levels that I had to pass, right? Essentially. So yes, this year it has definitely ramped up. I'm in a different space. Honestly, I feel I'm in the best head space of my life. I'm in the best space, mentally, emotionally, even physically. I've dropped some pounds or whatever since March, because of some things that I have put into place, which we will talk about, we will discuss, that will get brought up, of course. But I definitely wanted to, go ahead, reintroduce myself. My name is Hope. Nah. Reintroduce myself, to those who don't know me, new subscribers and stuff like that. And for those who do know me by way of like Instagram, Facebook, and so on and so forth. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to see what happens and what comes from this and so on and so forth. First of all, I'm just so grateful for this, the opportunity to even get to do this. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to YouTube. Anybody can make a channel and post content, create content for free, so I think that's a beautiful thing. I recently got, some equipment, to make it kind of nice. I got a little mic, a ring light and stuff like that with a stand and stuff. Just doing my best to make this, something that's nice, something that's going to be, do it correctly. You know what I'm saying? As far as, yeah, do it correctly. As far as, why did I lose my train of thought? Oh my God. I was about to say something, but then it went away. That happens to me often, especially sometimes I'll be thinking it's the weed, I don't smoke, but I do. I smoke when someone else has rolled and done all that kind of stuff. But as far as, I don't roll. I don't get trees or anything like that. But I love a nice edible. Okay. Um, uh, but I was gonna say something I honestly forgot, and I'm mad. Gosh, what was I gonna say? Oh, okay, it came back to me. So basically, this is my first video. It feels like the first time. And so, as this channel grows and as I'm here and everything, I'm going to, I want to get a logo. I want a logo made. So that's going to be like one of the next things that I do. As far as video editing, I want to get good at that, and so basically if you guys know anyone as far as people like graphic designers or, website, creators or whatever it may look like, in that field, feel free to, in the comment section, leave their information or tag them. You can DM me on Instagram or send me a message on Messenger or something like that. Whatever works, whatever is most comfortable. But I definitely will be looking into getting an official logo created. I want to do that. I need to do that. I have to do that because we gotta have it right. We gotta have it. We gotta have it. It's a vibe. It gotta be right. Everything gotta be right. And I don't just put out half-ass shit. I don't just with anything. I don't do half-ass shit. I do my best to produce my best. And I do my best to be a great person and a good friend, a good son, grandson. Shout out to my grandmother who just recently passed on July 18th. I love you, Grandma. I miss you every day, and I think about you every day. So I guess I'll dedicate this first video to her because I made a promise that I am going to make her even prouder of me. She'd say often how proud of me she was. So that's why I said even prouder, because I'm gonna make her proud. Yeah, for sure, for sure. She leaves behind me and others. So what an amazing woman she is, and I believe that she's still with me. Just because she's not here in the physical, I believe that she's still here with me here. So yeah, it's been a little over a month since that happened. But doing my best to continue moving forward, continue with the goals that I set out for myself, being there for my family, making sure that we kind of, stay tight knit, you know what I'm saying? Regardless, the matriarch is no longer here, but I feel as though she want us to continue to, be together and continue, exuding that love to one another and that support to one another and all of that, So again, this is somewhat more, I guess this will be like somewhat of an introductory video, but I did want to go into, I had some thoughts and I was like, where do you want to go with this first video? And I thought about it and I said, well, maybe I'll make it like a series. I'm not really sure yet. Nonetheless, I wanted to start it from my childhood and just speak about me, and so that people can learn more about me, and eventually you'll get like the sequence, like basically of my life and things that have occurred things that have happened. I don't know why I couldn't say that word just now, but yeah. So if we go back to my childhood, of course, it all stems from childhood and adolescence, right? So I was born, of course. My grandmother took me home at 3 days old. I'm a 90s baby. April, Aries. So yeah, shout out to my Aries or whatnot. April 14th. And yeah, a star was born, right? A star was born. Miss Trina, a star is born. Don't mind that. I'm a big Trina fan. So and I'm a big fan of references. So if I think of something and then it's a song that's associated with that, baby, believe me, it's gonna be said. Okay. But yes, so from early childhood, I grew up, in humble beginnings. I grew up in this place called Driftwood Terrace Apartments. It's now called Lauderhill Point, I believe. But it will always be Driftwood. People still call it Driftwood, but apparently even before that it was some other names, different management and stuff. Pink Apartments and Chocolate City, I think, was one of them too. Because my grandmother had lived over there since I believe since she moved to Florida, which was I believe around 1974. Right? Crazy, right? But it's essentially the hood. It's essentially the hood. You know what I'm saying? So I come from humble beginnings. The ghetto. It was, it wasn't the easiest place to grow up in. And as I was getting older, you know, honestly, I can say that from the age of 4, I just felt different. Like I felt different from kind of like everybody. I kind of felt different from everybody, to be honest. And, as life continued, of course, started elementary school and things of that nature. And things were somewhat fine at first, things were somewhat fine. I felt like, I was living my life or whatever as a young boy. But up until like second grade, right? But then third grade happened, and this is the phase that kids are getting older, and we're getting more opinionated and things of that nature. And I was always somewhat of a shy kid. I was shy. I was like timid. I don't remember like speaking too much. I speak to people when I was spoken to, or when the other kids, of course I made friends and stuff back then. But then by third grade, the kids, they definitely, it got kind of rough. That's when the bullying started. That's when the kids picking on me and things of that nature. That's when it started, from an early age, like third grade. I don't know what age I was in third grade. But it was rough. Like, and because I was shy and because I was timid, I really didn't say much. I didn't say much in response to people like saying nasty stuff or bullying me or picking on me. The kids were kind of ruthless, you know what I'm saying? It started off, gradual, and gradually got worse. But excuse me, I'm so sorry. But it was not easy. So, for example, like, I'll never forget it. I'll leave his name out of it, so I'm not going to embarrass anyone or whatever. But I remember a moment, I was in the hallway, waiting on class to start. We were in line, and there was this young man, and he said something about, oh, we gonna call you Games or whatever. And I'm like, huh? Like, why? Like, why would you call me Games? And he was just like, oh, and he had a crowd around him, of course, right? Because we're in line waiting to go into the classroom. And he said, oh, because it's Gay James. And I'm like, and then, he laughs, the people around him laugh. And I'm just there and I'm looking and I'm silent and I don't, I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. So I don't say anything. And I'm not understanding. I'm not getting it, because I didn't do anything to anybody. I never talked bad about anybody. I never said anything nasty to anyone. I had a kind-hearted nature about myself, which I still do. I treat people with kindness, respect, consideration, understanding, because what I believe in, I treat people in the way that I'd want to be treated. So anything outside of that, I don't really, deviate from that. And with that being said, because I get this type of energy from other people and for other kids and stuff like that, especially the guys, right? I didn't understand, and it made me sad. It made me, feel like people are really mean for no reason and things of that nature. And then at that point in time, as far as guys were concerned, like, I think how I viewed guys was different from how other boys viewed guys. But I hadn't identified what that was or what that meant or anything of that nature at that young age. Like, I didn't know. So basically, yes, I do significantly believe that I was born gay. Let's be clear about it. However, at the same time, I hadn't yet identified that yet. Like, I hadn't yet confirmed that, concluded that, or anything that, okay, this is my sexual preference. This is who I am. This is what I like. So on. No, definitely not. You know what I'm saying? So I was already kind of like being called gay even before I confirmed to myself that I was gay. So it just was like really confusing to me. And as the years went by, as far as school is concerned, from again, dating back to third grade, the bullying and the picking continued. And not just from guys, from girls too sometimes. Like, it was a girl I had a crush on or whatever, you know, and somebody told her, I guess, that how I felt. And then she was like, she would never and stuff. And she said something about, me being gay or, too effeminate or something like that. And it was really hurtful. It was really, really hurtful. And I was like, wow, like, damn, I just like you. And you had to go in on me like that. Like, why was all of that necessary? You know what I'm saying? Why was all of that necessary? Why did we have to do that? All I did was have a crush on you. So I remember feeling that way. I mean, I remember feeling like, oh, I hate her. I hate her after that. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's young love or young, premature feelings and stuff like that. But still, that shit hurt. You know what I'm saying? And then you go to middle school. My God. Lauderdale Lakes Middle. I went to Larkdale Elementary or whatever. Born and raised in Broward County, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So all my schools I went to, were basically in Broward County. Larkdale Elementary, pre-K through 5. However, kindergarten was spent at Peters Elementary because I had an older sister who was going there at the time. So my grandmother sent me over there for kindergarten, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, so we go to fast forward to middle school, Lauderdale Lakes Middle School. Lauderdale Lakes, my goodness. Ha! That was rough. That was significantly rough. I'll never forget it. 6th and 7th grade I spent there. And it got so bad at times that I go home, and before I, went to sleep at night and stuff like that, I was raised in a Christian household. We went to church all the time, like every Sunday. We go to Bible study Wednesday nights. We go to all services on Sundays, stuff like that, And so I was raised in a Christian household, and so I knew like prayer and stuff like that. So I'd pray, and I'd be like, God, please let no one pick on me tomorrow. Please let no one, talk bad about me and bully me and stuff like that. Like, that was a repeated prayer It was so consistent because the bullying and the picking was so consistent. And a lot of people, including my family, friends that I've had over the years and stuff like that, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't know, da 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 da. They didn't know that I was being, picked on. And I was like, yeah, it was really bad. Like, it was really bad. And yeah. Eighth grade, I feel like I kind of got a break because school boundaries had changed. My grandmother had also moved at this time, and she had moved to the Dillard High School neighborhood. So we were over there in a duplex. Originally, I grew up in a household with 4 women, 2 older sisters, my sister Jasmine, and my grandmother. I was raised by my grandmother. We all were. So when they got older, when the 2 big sisters got older, my grandmother left them behind, and then she took myself and Jasmine, and then she moved in this duplex, and she asked for my uncle to move in as well, for him to help pay for the bills and stuff like that. So we were still very young. So school, we had changed. The boundaries for the schools had changed, plus we had moved. So by 8th grade, I was sent over to William Dandy. 8th grade, Dandy, it wasn't as bad, like the picking and the bullying. It wasn't as bad at Dandy. I finally felt like I got somewhat of a relief. But mind you, this had all these years of the bullying and stuff. It had really done a number on me. It had really done a number to my mental health, to my emotional health. And the thing is, no one knew because what would happen is that I would internalize all of that. And because a lot of what was being said was that I was soft and, I'm gay and this, that, and the third, and all this kind of stuff. So, it was so negative. It was so bad. And it was a lot. But because I was already being called soft and stuff like that, I didn't want to seem soft or feed into what I was being called. So I wouldn't dare go to a superior, go to a parent figure, a teacher, whatever, and let them know, hey, this is what's going on. Because number one, I've never been I've never been a snitch. I've never been a snitch, I've never been a brown noser, nothing like that. I just don't believe in shit like that, to be honest. But I didn't want to feed into the stereotype of what I already was being kind of like considered. So I was internalizing all of that. No one else knew. Unless you were unless you were the culprit. You know what I'm saying? Or unless you were around when the culprit was actually carrying on or whatever. So it was hard, I dealt with a lot in my childhood. And keep in mind, I know I spoke about us moving to Dillard Park Homes, but prior to that, as well as not only was I being picked on and bullied in school, I was also being picked on and bullied in the apartment complex that I stayed at. And so imagine that, by older kids as well. So imagine that. Imagine a day in my life and I go to school and I get this type of behavior. I get these types of reactions and responses or whatever. And then also coming home, and if I'm outside, if I'm playing and stuff like that, I'm also getting the same thing at times. It was hard. It was not easy to navigate through those emotions and that mental beating, it really affected my self-esteem. It really affected my emotions. I was so sad at times. And I just didn't understand. I'm like, God, why? God, please. Why can you please stop these people from talking about me? Just give me some type of relief, because I don't understand why. I'm so nice. I'm so kind. I'm so generous to people. Why are they talking about me like this? Why are they carrying on? You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand. So fast forward, I spoke about 8th grade at Dandy. I go to Fort Lauderdale High School. My 9th grade year, I do all 4 years there. Ninth grade, that was something else too. So keep in mind, because of all the conditioning that I've already gone through, I'm a very shy person still. I'm shy, I'm nervous. I have levels of anxiety. I didn't even know that it was anxiety at the time. I didn't know that there was a name for that, but I know now, of course. But levels of anxiety and things of that nature. And again, the bullying continues. 9th grade. I remember sitting at lunch, sitting with this girl that I was cool with, and then she had met a guy, and they became a couple. And so I'd be sitting with her during lunch, and then her boyfriend would come over eventually, and I'll be just trying to mind my business, talking with her, eating my food, stuff like that, and he'll say little slick stuff to me and turn his nose up at me and, embarrass me in front of other people. I didn't get it, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't bother anybody. I don't bother anybody. Why do people mess with me? Why do people bother me? Why do people pick on me? Why do people bully me? For what fucking reason? For what fucking reason? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. And then high school was a whole thing in itself. By 10th grade, I started to feel like I got more into my personality, and I started to, I always was kind, people gravitated towards me, as far as people who were cool and didn't do what a lot of the other people were doing. So I was always a cool person. Girls loved me. Girls gravitated towards me. Some guys were cool with me too. Some straight guys and stuff. Mind you, I still hadn't identified what my sexuality was. And by the time I was 15, I was definitely struggling. By the time I was 15, I was struggling with my sexuality. So I was in church, still heavily in church or whatever, due to my grandmother. And hearing what, the pastor said and what they're saying that the Bible says and all this kind of stuff. And dealing with that. So feeling like I have emotions towards guys now, maybe. But at the same time, feeling as though I can't have those emotions. I can't have those feelings. And if I do, I'm going to hell. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, so imagine the mental warfare that I went through. I went through a tug of war, almost like it's an angel on one side and it's the devil on another side. The basically in a way, the devil is kind of saying, or this is how I envision it at the time, right? The devil is basically saying, you like guys, you like them and everything like that. I don't know why you playing. But then on the other end, the angel saying that's not the right way and you can't do that and so on and so forth. So it was literally mental hell. Essentially, that's what it was. I can't put it I can't pretty it up. That's what it was. It was a mental hell. And then I got everybody else coming at me, and I'm dealing with my own shit too. Fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. Fucking insane. High school is like a jungle. I get put I get fake MySpace pages made about me, talking about, oh, he did this and he did that and so on and so forth. Mind you, let me be clear about something. I actually did not have sex until I was 19 years old, post high school. And the first person I had sex with was my ex-girlfriend. So all these little rumors that were put out on these fake MySpace pages, I got put in senior letters, stuff like that, alleging that I've done things that I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand, and it made me so sad. It made me so sad. It made me so emotional. It made me so depressed. I had my first suicidal thoughts at 15. No words. As I'm talking about it, it's like the memories are coming back to me. And my goodness. Sometimes I think in hindsight, how the fuck did you survive all of that? I've been through some shit. I have been through some shit. Believe me. And I thank God that I'm on the other side of a lot of that shit now. I thank God that I'm on the other side of a lot of that shit now. This is not to say I didn't have good times in my childhood and good memories and a loving family, and caring friends and things of that nature. This is not to downplay any of that, but I experienced a lot of hell, bitch. Okay, like I experienced a lot of hell. This video is getting long. I didn't anticipate this video being close to 40 minutes. Oh my gosh. So I think I'm going to end it here. I think this will be maybe like part 1 of a series or something again. I don't know. But that's a little background. That can give you kind of like the basis of who James is and the things that I had to overcome and what led me to be the person who I am today, sitting right in front of you, But my life has not been anything easy. I would never put my life and easy in the same sentence. I mean, at least relating to things in the past. And just in general, actually. But thank you guys for watching my video. I definitely appreciate it. I definitely appreciate all of you who took the time out, because you didn't have to listen to me. And please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you'll be notified anytime that I post anything new. But yes, it was a pleasure. I'm so thankful for God for helping me through this, because again, I told you I was nervous, but this is my story, and you're going to continue to learn more about me and, gain more insight into who James Lamar is and how we're living, how we've worked to become the best version of ourselves, the King James version, right? All right, y'all take care. I appreciate it. I'm like, where's the remote so I can like turn the thing off? So thank you so much. All right, take care. God bless. Okay, it didn't even stop. Oh my God, stop.